That 2 weeks turned into 6 months. The bulldozers didn't come back for 6 months. So I spent that whole last year in high school out here every day across the field of it by myself, doing this work, and carefully. I didn't really know much about what I was doing, but I was being careful, and I was documenting everything about all the people that had been here over 10 or 12,000 years, and what they must have felt like, how they must have lived, the normal lives that they led. I mean, that made a huge impression on me, having that much time to think about those things. And it made me want to help preserve these kinds of sites all up and down this river or in North Georgia, wherever I could, because I believed that those things were really important to me, and knew that they were important to other people too, and should be. So that's what led to that moment for me, was being here at New Echota and having that kind of influence on me about the importance of this site. And so that leads me back to this issue of what was this all about, and how did all of this come about here? When the Indians left here, the Cherokees left here in 1838 and 1839, those last moments, I think, gosh, what was it like for the last person who left? Now, there were soldiers who were here longer, but what about that last person who was born here, who had families here? What was it like as they left the town? Looking back and seeing this entire town, this entire culture that was going to be not here anymore. And what about that sacred fire? In Cherokee life and in other Indian tribes, there's a keeper of that fire. And what happened to that fire? Somebody had to bundle that up in a little pot and take those little coals and take that to Oklahoma. What was that like? Hiding that perhaps from soldiers and keeping that flame alive as it went on out west. Well, in 1951, some folks from the east actually went out west and got some sacred fire back in the Black Gum Mountains and brought it back to the east to rekindle fires in the east from that western idea, that western sacred fire, and then brought it out again in 1984 at a council up there at Red Clay. And so we need to have a little bit of sacred fire here at New Echota, and there's a way that we can do that. But I'm thinking about it today, and I'm thinking, there's sacred fire here now. There's sacred fire here now. It's here, and it's in all of you that are here. That's what kindled in me the idea to help preserve these kinds of sites and preserve New Echota. It was a fire, a sacredness. Remember that, a sacredness that was here. This wasn't just a political center. This was a place where people lived. This was a place that had great life, and it has life now. It had sacred fire then, it has sacred fire now. And it helps us, all of us, take that forward. That's why I wear this red today. That's why a number of you have on red today. That's what that's all about, is carrying that idea forward in all of us. The people who have helped and carry that forward are here today, many of them. Of course, the Selfs and Donna, who's head of the Friends of New Echota, and David Gomez and Jim Lay and Jack and everybody, all of you that have helped one way or another, and Becky Kelly and Bert Wirtz, who's back there, I haven't seen in so long, who used to run state parks. All of you, and Jeff. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You know who you are. And we rekindled that idea with other people. Jeff Bishop got started in this because he used to come out to some of my archaeology projects, and he got so interested in it. He was doing work for the newspaper in Calhoun. Now he's head of the Trail of Tears Association, in Georgia. I mean, that's what it means to pass this on to other folks, to rekindle this among all of us. So that's the idea I want to leave with you today. New Echota is a sacred place. It has sacred fire, and that fire exists in all of us, and it's our duty to carry that forward. In the words of the song that's going to be sung here in a few minutes, of course, by Ms. McAllister, the words of Amazing Grace, that last verse, or almost last verse, when we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less time to sing God's praise than when we first begun. It's been 10,000 years. It's been 12,000 years here. An eternal moment, a moment that will go on and on and on. So thank you for letting me come today. It's been a very special experience for me to come back here with all of the influence that New Echota has had on me. I've tried to carry that forward in the preservation of sites and the appreciation of these cultures and what those cultures mean, meant at one time and what they will mean ongoing in the future. Thank you.